What's up, Rad fam? After the awesome response from the 11 Miles ritual deep dive that we did talking about the urban legend game, it seemed like a lot of you guys really liked that and wanted to see more like that. So today we are doing just that, and we are doing a deep dive into another ritual game. But guys, this one blows the other one out of the water because it is terrifying. And like the other one was obviously very spooky too, but this is like an evil game. The fact that anyone would ever want to play this ritual game is scary enough, because this is a game wagering life and death. Oh my gosh, like even just saying that out loud is shocking. Like I had no idea going into this what this ritual would be like. I thought, oh, okay, so it's going to be kind of like the 11 Miles ritual, because that's how it was kind of described, in that it's a game where you do this in hopes of getting a wish granted or to make a deal with something, but there's a huge chance that something can go wrong and you give a lot more than you realize. There are lots of opportunities for things to go bad on your end. But the more I read about this ritual, the scarier it became. And like how one of you guys mentioned in the comments of the 11 Mile ritual, you said like it sounds like a ritual someone would do if they wanted someone to, you know, meet their end. That is apparently, according to this website, the sole purpose of this ritual. Oh gosh, this is so creepy. Did I even say the name of it? The name of this ritual is called the Stranger Ritual. This is one creepy video, y'all. So let's get to it. I think the way we did the last video was a really good setup, which was just introducing it and then going over the instructions on what like someone has to do this ritual. But huge disclaimer, never ever ever play any of these games or do any of the spooky stuff we talk about on this channel, please, for your own safety and the safety of others, you know, paranormal or not, because you can get hurt doing these things. Just don't do it. That clears my conscience and keeps you safe. And then of course we're also going to be going over what could possibly go wrong and why you should never play this and how messed up this game is. And as always, I'm basing this information off of a site that shares the instructions. I will always leave the links down in the description of this video. So a little backstory on this urban legend game. It originated in 2014 off of a creepypasta wiki. So that's a pretty new ritual if you think about it, because a lot of rituals have actually been around for a really long time, like Bloody Mary, for instance. We just did a deep dive into that urban legend, and it's been around for over 100 years. But the whole point of this ritual, like I've kind of said already, it is for you to summon this dark entity called the Stranger, which is very unsettling, who is just up to no good, is you know, a bringer of evil, and you summon them and you give them a gift. In exchange for that gift, if they like it or if you follow the steps right, they are said to do your bidding. And usually that is in the form, apparently to this website, of doing dirty to somebody that I guess you don't like. It doesn't say it's exclusively has to be that. It says it is just like a wish-based urban legend. So it could be like the 11 Miles where you could wish for $1 million, I suppose. But this website does go into more detail about specifically doing harm onto somebody else. Oh God, this feels really weird talking about this. Now, I'm coming from a place of I just find talking about the paranormal fascinating, so I'm not coming from a place of telling you that this ritual is real. I mean, it did originate on a creepypasta wiki, so take that for what you will. So now that we got that out of the way and we have a basis for this terrifying urban legend, let's go over what the ritual actually is, so that you cannot play it because you don't want to do harm on anybody else. We are a happy community here. We love each other, okay? This is the Rad fam. We are the raddest community on the internet, and that's because we're nice to everybody. Okay, I just imagine someone that like dislikes all my videos is gonna be doing this ritual on me next. Please don't. So like the 11 Mile ritual, this is a ritual you have to do by yourself. If you do it with other people, it's just not gonna work. It's not the way the game is set up to play. It has to be a one-person type thing, which always makes these so much scarier, regardless if they work or not, which I hope this one just doesn't work and it's actually just a creepypasta. Being by yourself with like calling on some like spooky stuff is just infinitely more terrifying than doing it like at a sleepover with a group of people. You know what I'm saying? So a few things that this ritual states is that it must be in a room with one door. Ideally, it will be made out of natural wood though. I don't know why that's a stipulation, but apparently it is. The door also must have a lock, and that comes into play later for your safety, which is also a very terrifying tidbit to layout. The ritual involves a white candle and a black candle and a gift. Now, apparently the gift is like one of the most important aspects of this ritual. It says it should be something with no connection to you whatsoever. This website does say apparently the stranger has a sweet tooth, and that is like the only thing in this ritual I can relate to. Hey, what's up? I like me some brownies and cake, you know what I'm saying? So I guess candy is a big thing that this ritual involves, which is like an innocent thing if you think about it. Like you think like a gift would be like a heart or like something grotesque, you know what I mean? Or like dirt, but no, it's like a lollipop. I don't know why that kind of made me giggle. It probably shouldn't. And then you're going to need to write something. So it's saying like chalk specifically, maybe because it's erasable. Now, according to this version, which is the version to do someone dirty, it involves a photograph of that person that the person playing had to have taken themselves and had possession of. This is some dark stuff. Like this might be like the darkest urban ritual game to ever exist. Okay, and we are just getting started. But now what to expect and like how to actually, you know, go through the steps. Like all the other rituals, this game is set at nighttime, which is very common, usually between the hours of midnight and 6 a.m. A lot of times people like to play it at 3 a.m. When the person is playing the ritual, they have to obviously be alone, and they want to cover any mirrors or any source of lights. It has to be dark. You have to be isolated. You don't want anything, I guess, distracting. So any electronics have to be turned off, all of that jazz. Once the person's in the room that they want to do the ritual in, they will use the chalk and write the word stranger on the closed door in front of them. Oh my God, guys, why would you do this? Why? Can you just imagine like being in your room at 3 a.m. all by yourself with all the lights off, covered up in your mirror, your parents are asleep down the hall, you can hear your brother playing Xbox, and then you're just sitting there writing stranger on your door in chalk. That is some creepy stuff, y'all. The 2 candles from the instructions are placed on either side of the door, and once the candles are lit, the gift is then laid out in front of the door that stranger's written on. Then once everything's all set up and they're ready to summon this evil stranger, they're supposed to knock on the door 3 times. So then the person has to wait. And this is where stuff gets really creepy. This is when stuff's getting real. If only silence is met after the knocks, do not proceed. Something isn't right. The stranger doesn't want to play with you. They're in a bad mood apparently. Something just isn't right. So immediately wipe the stranger off the door, blow out the candles, stay awake with your lights on until the sun actually rises. Oh my God, that's so scary. I would not be able to sleep anyway if that happened, you know what I'm saying? Oh, sorry, forgot a huge stipulation. Make sure the door is locked at this point before like you go sit in your bed watching it, so the stranger doesn't come in and take you instead. If you play this game for the sole intention of causing harm to someone else, you're a bad person, okay? And like the stranger deserves to eat you. Now, if the person actually does hear 3 knocks, that's the stranger saying, hey, I'm here. And that is when the ritual is in full effect at that point, apparently. And this is when the person will open the door, but just a crack. That's when they'll turn their back to the stranger. Apparently, they can't acknowledge the stranger, maybe because then the stranger will want them. They'll think they're the gift, which again, maybe rightfully so, they should be. This site says in very bold letters, do not turn around, do not look at the stranger, do not talk to the stranger, don't make a sound, don't move, basically don't breathe. So just like hold your breath, I guess. This is when the stranger comes in and inspects the gift that is offered to him. If he's not feeling the candy that was laid out, GG's. The stranger doesn't want to play. And if they are met with silence, that I guess means he's rejecting your offering. He doesn't, particularly like Jolly Ranchers, apparently. He's more of a chocolates guy. And if that happens, the person has to apologize profusely and fastly. And to not look at him and to remain standing with their back turned all the way until sun rises. If for a reason they decide to have a conscience and like, oh wow, this is real. Apparently there is an option to back out, thankfully. They have to apologize to the stranger politely and ask the stranger to leave. Oh my God, that'd be a terrifying thing. Like, hey monster that came into my room ready to eat me, can you please leave? I'm sure that's gonna go over well. It's said that the stranger should abide and they will close the door, at which point the person is told to turn around quickly, blow out the candles, wipe down the door, lock it, and wait until sunrise. But reversely, if the person's like, nah, I'm a bad person, and if the stranger then approves their gift, that's when it happens. it will request from the person a name, and it has to be the name, obviously, of the person in the photograph. Once the stranger leaves, the presence is gone. They're supposed to then do the same steps. You know, I guess it's really important to lock the door and stay up till sunrise in case the stranger changes his mind and wants two people. And I guess the way to end this horrid ritual is to then burn the photograph. And I guess if the photograph isn't burnt, then the ritual door stays open and the stranger can come back. Oh, that is so creepy. This is so creepy. More so that someone won't play it than that the fact that they're saying this entity exists. But apparently this is not something to really repeat more than once, which I cannot say this enough. The fact that you would play this once is terrifying and creepy, but the fact that you would want to play it twice is just even more unfathomable. But if the chances of playing it again, especially if something went wrong or you told it to leave, that you're going to be on its, naughty list. And next time you ask to play, it might not end too well for you. At the end of the day, it is an urban legend. It's a creepypasta. It's a spooky story. And I take it as such. I hope you guys got some enjoyment out of this terrifying creepypasta. And if you did, make sure to turn on my channel notifications so you're notified when the next video goes live. And until next time, keep it the radness, and I'll see you guys real soon. Bye.